Good morning and welcome back to another Talklets conversation. This is going to be one of those lengthy in substance but short in length conversations that we're going to have. And let me start off by saying I'm paranoid and I'm not even high. I'm paranoid and I'm not even high. We live in a season where everybody is on edge. I mean, everybody. We've got individuals who believe in conspiracy theories at a very high level, very high level. I mean, no matter what you say to them, they're not getting off their belief system. But then we've got the other extreme. We've got individuals who refuse to believe in almost anything. I mean, don't believe in anything that's being said. I'm just going to stay in my little bubble, in my house, in my confinement, and I'm just going to believe what I want to believe. And so you've got the extreme out here with conspiracy theories on the outside, and then you've got the extremists on the inside being, if you will, bubbled in, confined in, isolated in. And so you have these two meeting and colliding on a daily basis. And so we have a problem because you've got a group that's paranoid on the extreme of conspiracy theory. You got a group, if you will, that's paranoid and want to stay away from everything and anything. And so that doesn't make you that useful. The one thing for sure, we're told by the Lord, I don't want you lukewarm. Well, guess what? That's not happening. You've got hot and you've got cold. And that's a problem for all of us because paranoia is running this country. I know, I mean, we talk about COVID and what COVID did to us and didn't do to us. And okay, I get all that. But we've got too many fake news going on. We got too many false truths going on all across this world. I want to break down to you what the definition, the clinical definition for paranoia is as we kind of get into this particular conversation. It's a mental condition that's characterized by suspicious. And we're all suspicious. I mean, some of you got your head on a swivel and you can't get it off. You're looking at everything. I mean, anything and everything. You're looking at it and you just can't stop it. It's almost like you're going to give yourself a concussion if you don't stop looking at everything and hearing everything and seeing everything. That's where we are. That's what we become. It's also distrustful. We don't trust anybody. If you're not in my immediate circle, I don't trust you. And we were created to trust each other, to believe and support each other, but we don't trust anyone. I mean, no one at all. That's outside of my little circle. And so when you look at paranoia, it's also what I call a general self-consciousness to a crippling, watch this, mental health issue. I mean, it brings about mental illness if you're not careful. If you stay in this paranoia complex, if you will, and the complexity of it, you find yourself being mentally unhealthy, unstable. And no one needs to be there, but some of us are. We've given ourselves to it. Paranoia also suffers from, watch this, from a phobia. We call it anxiety, or some people who are extremely shy, you know. But when you look at the big picture, it's all based on fear, that you're a fearful person. That's where it's coming from. The absence of faith is fear. And the absence of fear, yes, is faith. They don't exist in the same space at the same time. It's impossible for them to exist. Which one are you holding on to? Which one are you marrying up to, fear or faith? Do you trust anyone but yourself? If you have this paranoia, if you will, illness, you trust no one. You don't even trust yourself most of the time. And so how are you going to trust someone else? That's where we are. Paranoia will get the best of you if you don't watch out. Let me just share with you for a moment my paranoia story. It's one of great laughter now, but at the time it was great fear. I was driving home one afternoon from smoking and drinking with my boy, across town, and I'd done this many times, so it wasn't like it was something unusual. But this particular day, paranoia arrested me. As I'm driving home, I had this thought, and here we go, this thought. I had this thought, and I kept thinking on this thought. Normally, I just let it go. You know, if the police were to stop me, what would I do? I might get pulled over. I mean, it's a thought, but I'm moving on. I'm pushing on. I'm purging on. But this particular day, it arrested me. This paranoia thought. Yeah, this fear that I had inside of me. Because I got to thinking about my baby girl that I just had. And I'm thinking now, if I get arrested, who's going to take care of her? Who's going to take care of my wife? And see, I never thought about that before. But I'm thinking about this, and I'm driving down the freeway, and the speed limit is, what, 55 miles per hour back then? And I'm driving 20. I am so locked in. I mean, I am tunnel vision. I'm trying to get home safely, and I don't want nobody to stop me because I'm paranoid. Yeah, now, see, I am high at this time, and I'm full of paranoia. I'm full of fear. And so if I could have just only got out of my thoughts, I would have realized, Donnie, you can go 55, you can get home a lot faster if you just go push on the metal. But I wouldn't do it. I'm going 20. I'm driving like an old man. I'm just driving out here. I'm trying to get home and I'm sweating. I mean, it's cold outside, but I'm sweating inside this car because I'm locked inside my own mind. I've got my own phobia going on. Yeah, fear has gotten the best of me, and I can't shake it. That's where some of you are. You allow fear to get all over you, and you can't shake it. And so, and you're not even high. That's the bad part. If you're gonna have a paranoia, if you're gonna be paranoid, well, at least be high, and be paranoid about something that you can be paranoid about. But for the most part, we're not high. We're just buying into a world, a system, yeah, that's feeding its own greed pockets, if you will. Social media, all this news, all this fake news and false truths, and we're all hanging on conspiracy theories, and all they're doing is getting rich off of us. As we debate one another, you have to realize that some people really suffer from paranoia, and it's a phobia. It's related to anxiety and being extremely shy. You know people like that. But it's really up on an umbrella of fear. That's what it's up on an umbrella. It's just fear. It's fear and lack of faith. But you can't tell them nothing because everything that they experience, it's always about them. And so if I didn't do it, then it's not right. If I didn't do it, then it's not true. If I didn't say it, then don't believe it. I mean, they're stuck in their own world. I told you I was stuck. I couldn't get out of driving 20 miles per hour. I was so stuck in my own thoughts, so I can relate to it. In the book of Exodus, chapter 1, verses 8 through 10, there's this Pharaoh who's on the scene who knows not of Joseph. Remember when Joseph had this relationship with Pharaoh and he put him second in command of all of Egypt? Well, Joseph and that Pharaoh, they're dead and gone. So there's a new cat on the scene, and Pharaoh is his name. And Pharaoh makes this statement as he's looking out over the children of Israel in Egypt, and he says, you know what? There are so many of them, and they're more and mightier than us. And if we don't do something about them, they're going to join up with our enemies and overtake us. Here comes paranoia. See, no need for it, but here it comes. And the worst kind of paranoia is when it's inside of the leadership. Oh my gosh. When it's inside of the president's head, the king's head. You don't want that. You don't want your leadership being full of fear. They're going to make some bad decisions. I've already made the statement that if the head is sick, the whole body is sick. And so, women, be careful hooking up with that boy. I know he looks good and you like him, but be careful because if he's sick in the head, wow, the whole body is sick. So before you say I do, make sure that boy got his treatment, make sure he's taking his pills, make sure he's had therapy. And brothers, I'll be honest with you. You know that you want to get married one day. Why not go ahead and get the help you need before you meet her, before you meet my daughter? Go ahead and get the help you need. And before she meets you, I want her to get the help she needs as well. I normally tell the brothers, women, be careful where you plant your seed. Because that girl could be a cuckoo for Cocoa Puff. Yeah, she could have a mental health problem. And you don't want that. No. That's just going to be a mess on your dress. That's going to be a mess all over the place. You don't need that. You don't need two people coming together and one of them has got a mental health issue and haven't got treatment for it, haven't handled their business. See, if you handle your business, cool, go for it. Because you know how to check yourself. You got the right tools, the right keys, the right clues to stop yourself from going off the edge. But most of us don't. We just run into it head first. I love you, and all of a sudden we got a mess on our hands. You don't want your boss at work, the leader at work, you don't want him living in a place of fear, of being paranoid all the time, because the whole workplace becomes sick. It's just like your family. If that father's sick, all those things going to filter down through the mother, through the children. You got a whole family full of sick people, all because you didn't get the help you need. Your children are paranoid, especially your children who are believers, because they want to fit in with the culture, because they don't want to be seen as a Christian nerd or a little holy roller kid or a little pastor kid or a special, but they're supposed to be special. They're supposed to be separated. They're supposed to be different. We're not teaching our children to be different. We're teaching them to be inclusive. And so you see them wanting to get into the world because you've been teaching them that, well, you need to go ahead and you have friends. No, 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 no. They should be separate, separated. They're special. They have something inside of them that the world needs. But you're putting them into the world because you're so caught up into this society, to this cultural mess, that you're putting your kids out there at risk, is what you're doing. As a matter of fact, I should file charges on you for putting your kids in such a hostile environment. Because that's what's out there. There's pandemonium out there. Your children can't handle that. Well, they got to grow somewhere. Well, let them grow up under you. Why aren't you teaching them? Teach them about that world. Yeah. Stop letting the world teach them about you. That's what you should be concerned about. Stop being so paranoid that you won't let them venture out because you've given them good guidance. When we take the time and we just slow down for a moment and we remove the psychiatric labeling, the branding, paranoia simply means self-centered fear. That's all it does. Self-centered fear. And we see this in the book of Joshua. You remember when Moses is dead and Joshua is being appointed by God to take over? That's a big responsibility. I mean, Joshua has a right to be paranoid. He has a right to be fearful, on edge, concerned. Because you're talking about leading Israel, God's chosen people. So I get it. But then watch this. God comes in, he makes this statement. He tells Joshua, have not I commanded thee? Listen to that. Very important. Have not I commanded thee? Wow. Lord, command me to lead. Well, Donnie, I'm doing it. Oh, you doing your part. Oh, watch this. Be strong and of a good courage. Now, we quote that all day long. But are you being strong and of a good courage? See, when courage comes in, fear has to it has to abate. It has to leave. It runs up out of the house screaming. He says, be not afraid. Be not fearful. Be not fearful. Be faithful. Neither be thou dismayed. Yeah. Don't be confused. We ain't got time for that. We ain't got time now. You in that car driving 20 miles per hour? No. Step on the gas, but let's get home. Yeah, you know you got some responsibilities and some accountability. That's why you're sweating, because for the first time in your life, that little baby girl, yeah, she got you. That wife of yours, oh, they got you. You got something that you're responsible for. Then take care of your business. I never did it again. For the Lord thy God is with thee, whithersoever thou goest. Got you what? You're with me. Yeah, I'm with you. Day and night. I'm with you. Who's on the Lord's side? Well, hold up. Whose side is the Lord on? He told you, I'm with you. Fear. Yeah. Fear makes you suspicious of everything. Lucifer was so, if you were crazy, he came up with if you will, God's not big enough to take care of all this. Let me step in. That's what fear would do. Well, fear will run you into a paranoia fit to where you think you can do it all by yourself. Lucifer, let me just stop being over music. Let me just be over the whole thing. That's what fear will do. Yeah. Fear will either decrease you or it will make you blow your mind. It will. And so some of you need to settle down. Get out of the fear zone, get in the faith zone. Faith will arrest you and keep you focused. Some of you are living way too much in the fear zone. Fear is coupled with what I call self-focus. It's when we become paranoid. That's what it is. Fear is coupled with self-focus. We doubt our own values. That's what we start doing. We believe everything that somebody's saying is negative about us. Even though they're praising us, we see it negatively. She didn't say it right. She didn't do it right. You start self-worshiping yourself. That's what started happening. You start self-worshiping yourself because you're so self-focused. Let me tell you something. Every word, every event, every action that you try to pour into someone who is paranoid, they don't know how to receive it. As a matter of fact, it makes it almost impossible to have a relationship with someone who has that type of mindset, who's always living on the prefaces of fear. Because everything you tell them, they filter through their own thoughts. I told you, those thoughts are structured in a way that you don't need to be in your own thoughts. I told you, I can't go faster than 20 because I'm trying to keep my thoughts inside me. They're messing with me. But let me give you the cure to non-pathological paranoia. It's you giving total surrender to the Holy Spirit. We're told in Ephesians 5:12, don't get drunk on wine, which leads to wild living. Instead, be filled with the Holy Spirit. When the Holy Spirit fills us, we become self-forgetful rather than self-centered. Donnie, what are you trying to say? Let me say it like this. We've been told to stop living in our past. And we all have one. But we've been told that you're not fit for the kingdom if you hold on to your past. You're just not fit for it. And we've been told to focus on our future, but some of us get this twisted because we're saying, well, hold up. We've been told don't make plans for tomorrow because tomorrow, you don't create that. So I get that. And so we're stuck on living in our now, like right now. This is where I was in that car. I'm going 20 miles per hour because I'm stuck in my own thoughts. I'm stuck into my now, my moment of now. I couldn't see myself pushing the gas pedal to go 55 to get out of my now to get home to my there, to my future. Yeah, I'm getting there. As a matter of fact, that might be the best way to say it, is the there. Yeah, I need to be there because my now, like right now, when I'm speaking, it's already my past. And so I can't live in my now forever. I got to get out of my now to get to my there because my there is my future. There is my wife and my daughter at home. I've got to get to my there so that I can be there. But I just can't live in this now. This now has me trapped. Do you receive this? I don't need to be in my now. I need to be in my there moment so I can get to my future. I can't live in my past because it will hold me. Yes. And I can't live in my now because it will arrest me. I need to be in my there so that I can get there where I need to be. I pray you receive this. King Saul lived in his now. Yeah, he lived because he was always honored and revered. And when the people started saying stuff about David, David did this and David did that, when they just started really giving him recognition, the king got jealous because he became paranoid. He became fearful that he was losing his kingdom. And so he lived in his now versus in his there because it was all being done for him. David was working for him, but he tried to kill David. Kind of like Cain and Abel. Cain tried to kill, well, he didn't try. Cain killed Abel because he said, you know what? Let me get rid of my competition. When we nurture bitterness, when we nurture hatred, when we nurture sin, it's like leaving the door open when you go to bed at night. Anything, anyone can come in. That's what we do when we live in between being paranoid, living in fear. We leave the door open for the enemy to get in. You need faith because faith will guide you and lead you into doing the right things in life. But when you're not living a faithful life, you're living a fearful life. Yeah, you're paranoid and you're not even high. I was having this getaway golf, if you will, playing with my brothers, and we were in Euless, Texas. And we went to bed one night early so we could get up and go have breakfast in the morning and go play golf. And when I got up and came outside, I started my truck. It made this loud sound. And my brothers looked over at me and they were telling me that Donnie must got some glass pipes on that truck. But my brother was in the truck with me. He looks at me and I look at him and we both come to the same conclusion. Someone stole my catalytic converter. Now, I was upset. I'm not going to lie to you. But I went and got it fixed, and I took my truck home because I was paranoid. I wasn't bringing my truck back up there. I took my truck home. I told my brother I'll ride with y'all or I'll catch Uber. But my nephew made the statement, I'm going to sleep in my truck tonight. You see what paranoia does to you? See what fear does to you? Fear will make you sleep in a hot truck, 100 and some degrees at night to make sure someone don't steal your Cadillac convertible. Now watch this. We both got insurance, and insurance will take care of it. But it's just that no one wants to feel violated. And so we'll stay up all night trying to do God's job. That's what we'll do. Knowing that God has an insurance policy that takes care of all of us if we just believe. There's a movie called The Wizard of Oz. Most of you probably seen it. And it's several characters in this movie. The main character is Dorothy and her little dog Toto, and they're just trying to get back home to Kansas. But everyone else in the movie is paranoid. You got a lion who tells you he needs courage. Now, he's a lion. He has courage. He just don't know how to use it. Don't know how to activate it. That's probably you too. You've got the scarecrow who says he needs some brain, and he's talking like he has good sense, but he still says he needs a brain. And then you've got the Tin Woodman who tells us that he needs a heart, and he has the biggest heart. He's the most lovable creature, but he doesn't activate it. And then you have the wizard who everyone's going to see because we've been told that he has all the answers to all of our questions. He can get Dorothy back to Kansas. And when you know the whole story, he flew in from a circus accidentally over into the city of Oz, and his balloon came down. And because he came from the air, the people worshiped him, that he knew magic. And so he fed off of that. He had this big old curtain up, and he had this big old megaphone, and he talked to them like he was 20 feet tall. He's a little bit old stature man. But that's what he does because guess what? Because he's paranoid that they will find out that he doesn't know anything. And so we're living in a world right now where all we're trying to do is get home to the Father. Well, we live in this world in such a way that we find ourselves fearing everything in front of us. Some of us don't feel like we have enough courage. Some of us don't feel like we have a big enough heart. Some of us don't feel like we're smart enough. And some of us just lying every single day to feel important, to be important. And all we have to do is turning over to God. All we have to do is live a life full of conviction, repentance. That's all we have to do. But we're living between the wedges of fear and paranoia. Some of you right now, because of COVID, you go into a theater, movie theater, and someone coughs. You want to get up and leave. Some of you right now in church, and someone sneezes. You want to get up and move. We have all these phobias, if you will. I mean, they're making meat now. Wow. Out of lab-grown products, what they call them, animal cells. And they're expecting us to eat this. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm paranoid about that. I'm paranoid about all the gunshots that I hear in my neighborhood because everybody has a gun now. And so we've opened the place up to open season, as if that's really going to solve some problems. Some of you are paranoid when you see young men walking on the street and coming towards you. You go over to the other side of the street because that's what paranoia does to you. It arrests you. It will put you in a mode of going 20 miles per hour in your life when you can go 55. I pray that you understand the God we serve is omniscient, that he's omnipotent. I pray that you realize that the God we serve is omnipresent. He's at all places at all times. He's all powerful and he's all knowing. And so he knows exactly what you need. And guess what? And you don't have to be high to get it. You just have to confess with your mouth that Jesus Christ is Lord and believe in your heart that God has raised him from the dead. And you too shall be saved.